So, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, this is our first duo together, and we're going to be talking about parenting. I was telling my wife recently that I had an episode where a patient brought in two of her kids, and we missed the third one. So I asked what was the situation, and she said the young boy usually goes after school to hang out with his friends at Jane and Finch. Jane and Finch is about an hour or an hour and a half ride by bus.
An hour and a half ride by bus.
So the first thing that crossed my mind was an hour and a half by bus going, an hour and a half by bus coming back. That's 3 hours in a day.
Yeah, in a day.
So how often does he do it? Say he does it every day after school.
Really?
And so what time does he get home? Say he comes home sometime around 11 p.m. Man, I'm like, wow. At 13, coming home at 11 p.m. is
so
for me, I think it leaves a lot of questions to be asked. First and foremost is how did we get to that point? How can a 13-year-old boy be coming home at
8 o'clock
11 p.m.? Doesn't make sense.
11 p.m. without the parents.
Yeah. So the first thing that I was wondering, like at 13 or even at university, I could not come home at 11 p.m. I have to have a very good, a very cogent answer from my parents before I can even
we all have
knock
curfews
at the door to tell them to open the door.
Like, who are you even going to visit?
So, but for me, I was thinking, if parents allow it now at 13, then obviously at 15, probably he'll be coming home the next day. What time does this child have to do his homework? If you spend 3 hours just on the bus, going and coming back, maybe an hour or two to hang out with his friends, that's about 5 hours wasted every day. 5 hours in a week, 5 days, you're looking at 25 hours. Obviously, 25 hours is enough to do a lot of studies. For me, I see, although the mom tried to excuse it as, the way Canadian kids behave, you really can't do much because they know they are right or they have all the rights in the world. To me, I see a case of bad or case of failed parenting, if I may use that phrase. There are other kids that are being brought up in this same society, and I don't think coming home at 11 p.m. is
The question to me, though, is how did they even get to that point? Because for a child to take the bus, he first of all has to know, right, how to take that bus. The child must have done that before, maybe with the parent or maybe with an older sibling.
True.
Yeah, so for the parent to even allow that child to take the bus all the way, like for 2 hours, I don't think I'll feel comfortable, with my child taking a bus like 2-3 hours, away just to go visit a friend. And then spend the time and come. First of all, what is the child even doing?
Yeah, but the mom was saying that the child is very independent. To me, I don't see that as being independent.
I'd rather channel that energy towards something. If that child has that kind of energy and is that independent, then I'd rather redirect that same child, to do something much more positive. Yeah, something that could, the same child, if you engage him, positively, you'll be shocked and you'll be surprised at what, he can do or what he can generate. It could be, I'm sure there is a passion. There is a reason that this same child goes to visit his friends or the friend. Whatever it is that motivates this same child to go out for more than 5 hours every day. If you can recreate the same thing at home, and encourage that child.
No, but that's the question that I asked.
If possible.
How is it possible that the child?
Invite the other child over.
Don't you have kids in his neighborhood that you can play with?
Yeah.
Why do you have to travel 1.5 hour to another 1.5 hour through to go hang out with friends? I think even if he's hanging out with friends for 2 hours, it's not a problem. But the fact that you have to add an extra 3 hours.
3 hours journey to go
hang out with the other child or the other kids, as the case may be. Is where I have an issue with. Because that's an extra 3 hours that could be used for something else at home.
Yeah.
You have homework to do. A child that studies for 3 hours a day compared to the one that spends that 3 hours on the road, even if it's reading on the bus, I still think it doesn't make sense. Because you're going to be doing a lot of transfers. Yeah. It's not one straight bus that goes from Scarborough to Jane and Finch. So
I won't even be comfortable with a child at 13. Yeah, some kids are independent. There is something about taking a bus, maybe to go to the mall, pick one or few things and come back. Take a bus to go to the school, right? Yeah. But why go all the way to visit a friend? It doesn't. Something is just not.
It doesn't all go well.
It doesn't all go well. It could be there is a kind of a break somewhere. It's like they say somebody is dropping the ball here. It could be the parent. Most likely, it has to be the parent, because for that child to feel comfortable to leave the house in the first place, knowing that it's okay with the parent, because it has to be okay, with you. Like, where are you? Like the child will leave the house without telling, which means the parents are most likely are not home, because that's the only way the child can leave. Then if you come
and they're coming home at 11 p.m.
and if you come back at 11 o'clock at night, like, and you knock on my door at 11 o'clock, first of all, I'm sound asleep. So are you as a parent waiting up for this child to open the door at 11? You might as well sleep over at your friend's house. But then if you do, that means you're going to miss school, because for the child to be taking transportation,
public transport,
means that most likely the parents, they don't have their own, maybe they don't have their own vehicle, right? So if you have to go and stay over for 11 o'clock, you might as well stay and sleep over at your friend's house. But
but for me, I think even if for me as a parent, if the child, first of all, I'm not going to tolerate it. But if the child is coming home at 11 p.m., I'm not going to drive all the way down to Jane and Finch to go pick you up. If you found your way to Jane and Finch, then you better be finding your way back home.
Which is why the child is coming back at 11 o'clock.
Right. For me, 11 p.m. is too late.
It's too late.
If I have to go to work the next day, are you saying I close from work
and I have to?
Then I wait till 10:30 to drive to Jane and Finch to go pick him up? It doesn't. I personally won't do it.
And this is not, the child is not visiting a family member. Even
if he's hanging out, he's going to hang out with his friends.
Even if it's a family member,
and the fact that
it's still not advisable.
It's not advisable.
It's still not advisable.
Which family member lets your child stay in his house till when he knows the child has to go to work go to school the next day?
It's not even just that child going. Someone also allow that child to stay in their house till till late.
That by itself tells you there's something wrong with the kids' parents. And there's something also wrong with the other parent that the child is going to hang out with.
The friend's
because which parent? I'm not going to allow my own child, your friend is visiting you, and 10:30 is still in my house, or 10 o'clock is still in my house.
No, but what time did you say? My kids have, they have homework, they have personal, their own things to do. What time do they go to?
Yeah, so if
there's a certain bedtime that every child minimum should maintain.
Even if the child goes to hang out with his friends and they are studying together, right? I still think the parent that allows another child of 13 to come hang out in his house till 10 p.m., knowing that the child has to go to school the next day, and he does not live in the neighborhood.
He doesn't live in the neighborhood.
He has to take the bus
an hour away.
An hour back, an hour and a half to get home. The parent that allows it is just as already tells you how the other home
Yeah,
is.
it is.
So that by itself I think is a red flag to even allow your child to go hang out in such an environment.
For the child to stay that late, it tells you for sure that they're not studying. Because
Of course.
I can understand maybe high school, but even at that high school, like most times you all live within the same neighborhood. So you can't be going 1 hour away to visit your high school friends and study. But
I know
Even
that
at that,
back
so-
home, although I didn't grow up here, back home in Nigeria, there's no way I can tell my parents that I'm going to my friend's house to study. Okay, but I cannot be coming home at my friend live an hour and a half
and
away. And I'll take public transport an hour and a half to get home by 11 p.m.
No, it will not.
It's not going to happen.
We have a
Neither will my own parents allow another child to come
Child,
read
yes,
with us, study with us at
Yeah,
home,
yeah,
and know that
absolutely.
that child is going to be heading home doing an hour and a half trip or an hour trip to go back home, and the child is leaving our house by 10
by
o'clock.
10 o'clock, yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Either way, I personally think it
Yes,
doesn't
there is something.
make sense. Although the parenting challenges, there are a lot of parenting challenges here where the way you discipline your child back home is the way different from the way you're allowed to discipline your child here. But I believe if you start from the beginning, if you put your feet down from the onset, it will not get to that stage where the child is comfortable enough to leave school and head in that direction and repeat it 5 days in a week.
I think in my own case, like what my take there here is that the child, like there weren't someone setting boundaries and
True.
limits, for this child. This kind of, I understand some kids are independent and want to do their own thing, but regardless, they still need direction. They still need you to, set the boundary. You're the parent here. It's not the child that is in charge.
Yeah.
Right? So when the child is small, there's like rules for every house of things that is acceptable and things that are allowed.
True.
And this can only happen when you don't
No,
have
but
clear rules
That's what I asked
and
the
limits
parents. Like
and boundaries, in the house.
that was the question I asked the mom. That look at home.
Yeah.
Are there rules?
Yeah.
Who makes the rules and who enforces those rules?
You have to enforce
If
the rules.
even if by the child's action tells me that it's either there are no rules at home
Yeah.
or nobody's enforcing
It's
the
enforcing
rules.
the rules at home, yeah.
If not, that child will not be confident or comfortable.
It can also be that there are no
Enough.
adults. You need to have an adult at home to
To-
ensure that child does not live in the first place,
True.
right? Because I don't think a child will just wake up, will just get up at around 5 o'clock or 4 p.m.
School closes at 3.
at 3 and leave at house at 4 p.m. when there is an adult and you don't kind of check in with the adult and confirm that it's okay for me to leave.
No, but the mom said the boy leaves from there.
Oh,
From
he
school.
leave? Whoa. From
So he's-
school?
Yeah, he leaves from school
Oh,
and,
boy.
go to Jane and finish to go hang out with his friends. So he only comes back around 11. So my thing is a child closes from school back
So it
home.
doesn't even
My parents
go
know what time we close from school. They know how long it takes for you to get home from school. If it takes 30 minutes for you to get home from school, 30 minutes from when school closes, you had better be at home.
You better be home, yes.
You had better be at home. Right? They didn't have phones or anything to monitor you. But you have neighbors. All right? That neighbors that look out for each other's kids.
Yeah.
You cannot close from school at 3 o'clock and be coming home at 5 without an explanation.
Then it's like, yeah.
There has to be an explanation. So, and I think that is where the disconnect is here. Parents or the mom said, here you can't talk to them, you can't touch them. I believe that's an excuse.
That's an excuse. I don't think
for a parent that's not doing their own work, or you didn't start doing it on time.
On time, yeah.
But for me, I think it's still better to start now than to leave that child to continue doing.
Yeah, but
what,
if the child can go out at 13, I think it's already like, how are you going to stop the child? Like, what can you do? because for that
It's better
child,
to be late than be sorry.
no, but for that child to even leave from school, like that shows me like it's almost like the child is there is
the boss at home.
Is the boss at home because you leave from school, like what do you tell the teachers? Which I don't know where does the child even get bus ride?
They get the monthly bus pass.
But who pays for the monthly bus pass?
Of course, it has to be the parents.
No, I am not going to pay for the monthly bus pass for you to go visit your friend.
No, the child takes the bus to school, so the parents have to have a bus pass.
No, but for
the child.
No, here in Ontario, kids under 12, you ride the bus, it's free.
No, it's 13.
But the child is 13.
Right, it's 13.
But 13 is not in 13. You're still in you're not in high school yet. So they don't need bus pass.
Okay, so how does it get on the bus?
That's the question.
13 rides bus free?
No, it's 12. Except the child, if he's small, he can claim to be 13.
No, but I'm saying if the child is 13,
yeah,
he has to have a bus pass.
He has to have a bus pass.
Right, so the parents get him a bus pass to go to school. But that bus pass is a monthly pass.
It's a monthly pass.
So which means he can use it at any time. So, but it means the child is now abusing the privilege.
Yeah.
By closing from school. Instead of coming home, he knows he can use the bus pass till he doesn't have to pay for it. He just need to flash the bus pass to the driver and get on the bus. So the problem now is he is using that bus pass to go
I think it's time for that parent to step up and be the boss here, and the parent has to. I don't mind grounding you as a child.
The child needs to be grounded.
Yeah,
something needs to be done.
I don't mind grounding you.
Something needs to be done.
I have to make sure talk to the teachers at school. It's not the teacher's job to ensure that the child gets home, but between the teacher and the parent, they could come up with a plan that ensures that child goes home straight from school. You can't force the child, but actually at that age, like I don't think they shouldn't even be discussed about.
I doubt if the teacher is the teacher is responsible for the child while the child is in school on the school premises. But once school is done and the boy is out of the school premises, it's no longer the teacher's responsibility.
But I think at 13,
it's the parents. The parents should be the one that should
to be deciding where they go, what time they stay out, how long they stay out. I think it's too young, and I believe the parent is the one dropping the ball here. And because if this child can do this, it's not for sure. If the child is not doing homework, you're sure. We are sure that the child's education is going to suffer. You don't know how well.
We know how this is going to play out.
You know how it's going to play out. So most likely, this same child will end up not, getting a high school education, probably drop out. And what is going to happen? That's going to be like a vicious. The vicious circle just going on.
The circle of friends already tells you that something is wrong. Yeah, something is wrong. The earlier they withdraw that child from that circle, the better it is for the child.
That could be another thing. Take that child.
For me, I think the earlier you pull that child out of that circle, the better it is for the child. We all know how this plays out, and it's worse when you see a child of color engaging in this kind of activity. You already have color against you. The last thing you want to do is to add extra problems.
It's still hard for me to wrap this whole thing around my head that a child at 13 has so much authority and have so much authority, so much independence. Like it's almost like the child is the one dictating what happens here. I can't understand how a child can just have the audacity to leave from school to visit a friend's house without coming home, checking in with the parent. The question is, where is the parent here? Maybe the mom has 2 jobs, but even at that, like it's still the person.
No, where I think
still dropping the ball
for the mom to classify it as being independent. I think that's where the issue.
The issue is
is mom sees it as being independent, that he can go out and come home on his own.
So is she proud?
But the problem is I can't really say. She knows it's not right, but
she's kind of helpless.
She sees herself in a helpless situation where the society says, okay, you can't touch the child. So what is she supposed to do?
But there are boundaries.
But-
You cannot touch the child. Doesn't mean that child, shouldn't know rules, boundaries, and that there are consequences for breaking
Those rules.
those rules. You can put your child on timeout. You can take, if I tell you not to use your phone at a certain time and you use it, I take the phone from you, right? So there are a lot of things you can do to let the child know that some of it, whatever he or she is doing, is not acceptable.
They say an idle mind, right, is a devil's
It's a
workshop.
devil's workshop.
The child that has 5 hours to waste every day means something is wrong.
Something is
That's
wrong.
where I see.
I think there is more to it than we know, and
Probably.
when we know more, we'll update you.
Probably. But anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
This is our first episode together, and if you have questions, please throw it in. Comments, highly welcome. We appreciate you all.
And you're going to see more of us talking and raising some issues, and some of the issues that we encounter.
Sure.
We have our own office, and we do have the privilege and opportunities to hear stories like this. Sometimes people come to us and they bring up these issues and they need help, in figuring out what to do or what next to do. So when we see that, we come here, we might discuss it, and
take the feedback
and take feedback and ask you, when you find yourself, have you encountered anything like this, and what would you do in situations like this? What do you think is the best advice? We are all in this together.
It's a learning curve.
It's a learning curve. We all want the same thing, which is to succeed and excel in life. And the more we would say, it takes a village
to raise a child.
No one knows it all. And when someone approaches you in confidence and say, hey, this is something I'm struggling with, how can you help? We do our best here.
Yeah. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We also rely on you guys for feedback, and this way we can all pass the message across. And who knows? An idea that you think might not be the best will probably turn out to be what will turn the circle, or will turn the table around. So we don't know. But anyway, thank you so much. Again, is Dr. Victor Obasuyi and my co-host Azuka Obasuyi. So thank you, and we'll see you guys next week. Appreciate.